as she was walking away, he was getting angrier and yelled, "I will fuck you up." Like, who says that to somebody?
Who says that to your husband or wife? Like,
who
I
says
can't
that
imagine
to anybody when you're not like 17 and drunk in a bar fight? Like, that's not how grown adults respond. That poor woman was so exasperated.
So, what I'm quite interested in, I think, before I say my thoughts on it, how did you, like, because obviously I think where we're both, I'm a man, you're a woman, we probably had different experiences watching it. So talk us through how you felt.
I also come from, and this is something that I don't share often or lightly, but I also come from an abusive family background. So that type of thing is, it kind of stirs up some feels, but that is not, his behavior is not how you behave towards someone that you say you love. That's not how you treat someone you love, especially, the mother of your children who is currently 8 months pregnant. When you are in a partnership with somebody, and that's I guess the problem is that he's not seeing it as a partnership, right? Like, he's talking about, she needs to prove that she's committed. She needs to have discipline and respect. She needs to be worthy. She needs to show her commitment by, like, put on gloves and go out. Like, she needs to respond to his every whim. He is treating her like she is the family dog, that when I tell you to sit, you sit. When I tell you to stay, you stay. She doesn't have any autonomy. She doesn't have her own, like I said, she doesn't even have the keys to the fucking car. So every time she has to go to the grocery store, she has to go through this whole charade. If you really loved someone and you respected them as your partner, you want to go through life with them side by side, together. So you don't want to make things difficult for them. You're not throwing up boundaries for them. When your 8 months pregnant wife says she wants to go to the store, you give her the keys to the car. You get her own car. You can afford it. And then his whole, well, what if, get an Uber? What if I want to go to the gym? I can't go to my mom's. I can't see my friends. Why can't he, like, he's not even providing options. Why can't he take the Uber? Why can't he drop her off at the grocery store and then pick her up afterwards if he needs the car so fucking badly? Why can't she drop him off at the gym and then pick him up? Why, like, there's just, it is all, that whole thing was about exercising control, because even when she's trying to give him options, the way he said either, it's not about that either. He was like a petulant 16-year-old throwing a hissy fit because he wanted his toy to act in a certain way, and it wasn't acting in that way, and it was pissing him off. And then when she was just, like, he says she gives up so easily, but she hasn't given up so easily. This has been years of this type of treatment that has finally led her to a place where she's like, I just can't. That's not giving up easily. And you shouldn't take pleasure in doing that to your partner. You shouldn't be setting up these tests for them to demonstrate their commitment of, like, oh, forget feeding our family. Go put gloves on and walk the dogs. Go get the dog's medication. And then when she's like, I can't do this, he's, watch it. What, like, threatening. That is threatening language that he's putting out there. And then he's like, I don't know why she's divorcing me. I don't know why we're not making through this together. Like, he claims to be religious. And I Googled Bible quotes. Let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let this wife see that she respects her husband. She has respected him for their entire relationship. He has never loved his wife the way he loves himself, because you do not treat people that you love in that way. You don't make it difficult. You don't threaten them. You don't make everything about you, because everything was about him. She wants to buy food. He's like, well, what if I want to go out? What if I want to go to the store? What if I want to see my mom? Figure it out. You're a grown fucking man.
Get on the push bike.
Just, like, discipline and respect. Like, how are those words that should show up in a marriage? Respect, yes, there should be mutual respect. Discipline? I'm disciplined every day in that I walk the dogs, right? Like, that's the level of discipline, not my husband disciplining me or vice versa. That's not how you treat people you claim to love.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I think we both share most of the same views. I was wondering as well, like, what did you think about how she tried to diffuse the situation? Do you think, like, in your opinion, how do you think she handled it?
That she handled it like an abused woman. Right? Like, if my husband spoke to me that way, because we've never been in an abusive relationship, I would be like rolling up my sleeves. I'm like, get this fucking fight on. But she was trying to appease him with words that she thought would soothe the bear to try to just get through. Like, he very much had the demeanor of someone who is just exhausted and exasperated and just trying to get through it. So it was like, I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm going to do what I need to do just to get the goddamn keys to the fucking car so I can go buy myself some fucking Cheetos because like shit, that for me, it very much felt like, I love you. I'm committed to you. We just need milk. Like, just let me go get the milk. Like, that's how it felt.
Yeah, I think as far as trying to diffuse the situation goes, I thought she did quite well in the sense of, I need to go disengage. I can't engage with this anymore. I need to go relax. I need to calm down. I need to get out of the situation. And the entire time, her body language was quite avoidant. Like she wanted to, like she was trying to placate him, but also find the exit. You know, I noticed that quite a lot.
Yeah, she was staying close to the door and she was kind of circling, almost like the way you would approach a mad dog, almost like very calm and quiet and soothing and like keeping the distance. Like she was very much just trying to get out of what could have potentially led to an explosive situation. And even the text at the end where as she was walking away, he was getting angrier and yelled, "I will fuck you up." Like, who says that to somebody?
Who says that to your husband or wife? Like,
who
I
says
can't
that
imagine
to anybody when you're not like 17 and drunk in a bar fight? Like, that's not how grown adults respond to situations. Like, he is either so accustomed to getting what he wants or so accustomed to getting a certain type of behavior from her that she is obviously fed up with, otherwise she wouldn't be divorcing him, that he just cannot fathom that somebody would speak to him in that way, because he likely, and I don't know, I mean, being in the public eye the way he is, right, and being the star of his own show, he's likely surrounded by a bunch of lackeys and yes men who give him whatever he wants. So if he was to say to somebody, "Put on gloves and want the dog," yeah, I'm on your payroll, so I'm going to do that because it's my job. But this is your wife. That's your partner. Like, you don't order your partner around like they're your shitty intern, or how you shittily treat your intern.
One thing I noticed though, like the groceries, she actually just to kind of pick apart the conversation a bit, is that she said it's not groceries today, and then he said, "No, but what about the steaks, the wood pellets, my grill?" So he wanted her to go to the grocery store, out of her normal routine, basically, go to the grocery store and pick up his stuff because he wanted to see his friends later, which he can't do if she takes the car. So he wanted to have the car so that he could do his little errands, go to the gym and see his buddies, and then he wanted her to get an Uber to the grocery to pick up his stuff to hang out with his friends later.
I missed that nuance of it. Oh, that's even shittier.
Isn't it? Adds another layer.
It does add another layer. And like, if she's going to, how long does it take for her to go to the like, is she going to a farm and churning her own butter? Because it's a grocery store. Like, you're in and out in an hour.
Yeah.
It's not like he couldn't have done these things. It's not like he can't, okay, let's go together. Or, I mean, we have 2 cars in our household, so we don't need to worry about like who's going where. But like, there have been times where one of our cars is in the shop for an extended period of time, and if we both have things to do, we'll figure out, either we'll do those things together, or it's like, okay, I'm going to drop you off here, I'm going to go run this errand, I'll come back and pick you up. Like, when you're in a partnership, you problem solve together. You problem solve, and you try to make things easier for the other person. You don't intentionally try to make things difficult for them.
Yeah, exactly. Like the way you just put up barrier after barrier. And
then that's so whiny. It's not about that either. Like, I cannot get that either, the intonation of the word either, out of my head. That's how I used to talk to my mom when I was 14.
Yeah, and it's everything was focused. I mean, this is quite what matches what I know of him on the Crowder show and the way that his ex-cast members have spoken about him. But it's that ego. Everything was surrounding him. So it was about, she has to be worthy of being his wife. So she needs discipline and respect in order to earn the position as his wife. Because
even at the very beginning, she said, "How do you respect men?" It's how is he respecting her? Like, it's if there's no mutual respect, trust, if there's no open communication, that does not make for a healthy or happy relationship, which is why, like, we can all see why she left.
Yeah. And I think that as a man watching this as well, like, when I hear blokes, I mean, this is a pretty common thing among blokes who aren't abusive or don't present abusive behaviors to their wives. It's quite common that this kind of stuff should make a man angry. You should feel anger and rage at seeing a bloke treat his wife like that, because it's not fucking necessary.
Yeah.
We've got sorry, one of my neighbors, he talks to his wife like a piece of shit. I can't fucking stand the bloke. And she was in the garden, like he was just sitting there on a Sunday, just chilling out, and then his wife was fixing up the garden and doing things, and then she was trying to unscrew something, and he was just so sarcastic. He was like, "Lefty loosey, righty tighty, don't you fucking remember?" And then so she's doing the thing, and then he's like, "I just wanted one fucking day of the week where I could just fucking relax." She's like, "I know you did, I know, I want to get this done."
That's
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Like my husband and I will occasionally will be sarcastic with each other like that in a very joking way.
yeah, it's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, we both know that we're joking. And I think for a lot of men, they sometimes feel emasculated in other places, right? They're made to feel insecure or less than, right? Maybe at work, they're the low man on the totem pole and they get treated like shit. So in order to make themselves feel big, they've got to make somebody else feel small. So that dynamic of it all kind of trickles downhill. If someone treated them like shit, they're going to treat somebody else like shit, who in turn is going to then treat somebody else like shit, unless there's that eventuality where the cycle is broken and it doesn't continue. But it takes a lot of hard work to break that cycle. And I don't know what Crowder's parents were like, if they were like this as well, or if this was all him. But at some point, the cycle's got to be broken. And that is hopefully what his wife is doing by showing their children, this is not how you behave in a relationship. This is not a healthy dynamic.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I've never thought much of his dad when I saw him on. I wouldn't be surprised if he learnt this. Like, obviously, I don't know what his childhood was like, but it would not surprise me if what he's doing here is parroting his parents.
That's usually the way, right? Someone's got to break it.
And it was because what caused me to think that is that, like, he's had his dad on the show quite a lot, and he always has like a really hard religious conservative mindset. So they were watching a clip, I think, I can't remember what it was about. I think it might have been about an OnlyFans model or some woman who wasn't acting in a very Christian way in their view. And then the dad just went, "I know what the problem is. She didn't have a good dad growing up." And then that was it. Like, all of her behavior, everything she is as a person, obviously she doesn't have a dad growing up, and that's why she's a slut.
Wow.
That was his argument. Yeah. Very two-dimensional.
Wow. But I'm sure he fancies himself a good dad.
Yeah, right.